Hello, this is Bob Elkjer, and this video is a how-to video on my first ever jazz improvisation method book, and it's called Jazz Fragments. And this book is a result of teaching kids and wanting my kids to have more fun improvising, have it sound less mechanical and more beautiful, so their heart gets into it. And you know, my philosophy on jazz is it's a language composed of words, and those words make up sentences. And I tell my kids, you know, baby, they don't say sentences, they start out with words. Mommy, daddy, lots of different words. And over a long period of time, or maybe not a long period of time, eventually those words become sentences. Well, it's the same thing with jazz. And that's the philosophy of this book. Fragments, little licks, ba-ba-da-da, ba-ba-da-da-da-da, short, all right? And I have my kids repeat these licks over and over and over again until they start out, you know, very mechanical, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, but if I'm singing it, ba-ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and I'm taping them, eventually they start to sound good on the lick. And the philosophy behind this book is, if a kid just skims over a book, that's how you become a copycat. And we don't need that in jazz. But if you find the licks that you like, and that you want to play, and you play them enough that they really start to sound good, they get inside of you. And the next thing you know, that kid's in math class or he's at the bus stop and he can't get that lick out of his head. And the next thing you know, he's adding other notes. He doesn't even know he is. He just wants to get home, wants to get his horn out, figure out what he just did. Bingo. His ear is involved now. His subconscious mind is involved, and that's how you become a true improviser. So basically, I wrote out all the little pages and pages and pages of licks that I compiled over the years with my students. And of course, the first ones are the blues scale. Why wouldn't you do that? Blues scale in B flat. You can take a look at the very first page here. Okay? Very simple licks. Ba-ba-da-da-da-ba-da-ba-da. Each lick has a repeat sign. Okay? So now, Jazz Fragments, each exercise comes with a backing track on YouTube or somewhere on the internet. So here's a B-flat blues backing track, and I'll sing you the licks so you can get a sense of just what's in the book. Same lick, one measure. Next lick. Very simple. Next one. This book is also good just to teach kids Count Basie style phrasing in a band. Next lick. These are all licks we've played a million times. All right. So, as I said before, it's up to the teacher to encourage the kid to repeat and repeat and repeat until they're really into it. Then you move on. So that's the B-flat blues scale. I have then all the same licks in the concert C, concert G, concert F. All right. So the kids can do the same licks in several keys. Okay. Then the next section of the book is called neighbor notes. That's my little pet term. Just means any note that's half step below the notes of the chords. Ba-da-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da, ba-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da. Anytime you have that note, it adds, rather than just playing a C scale, it adds a chromatic interest that's understandable because it's a neighboring note. So I'll play you the neighboring note there, and once again the neighboring note fragments are in several keys. Here's the one that's in concert E flat. Let's have a listen to that. This is the backing track that's listed. Sorry. Bop bop ba da doo da. 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 See, I did just like it is with my students. I sounded like hell at the beginning, and then I sounded better. Right? Ba da da da. Ba da da da. Ba da da da. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, So these, I tell my kids these are kind of the more major sounding rather than the minor sounding blues scale, and they complement each other well. So the next section of the book is called 3-5-7-9 Odd is Beautiful. And it's just basically outlining, a minor 7 or a major 7. The first exercise is boom, boom, ba da 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 da, ba da 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 da. And I tell the kids just to play through this many times. Don't worry which key the lines are in. It's just to get that 3-5-7-9 into the kid's head, so they understand that that's kind of the root of the 2-5-1 progression, and that's how chords are built. Then the next section of the book is called Major 7th Licks. And I basically say, the major 7th chord is the beauty chord of jazz. But just playing a major scale over it can sound square. So jazz players use 5 special notes, the pentatonic scale, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, which are just certain notes of the major scale, which sound hip and interesting. And here are some examples. It's just like playing pentatonic scales over a major chord. But there is a backing track. This is a little bit hipper of a section of the book for the more advanced students, so they can learn how to play over a major 7th chord without sounding square. And same deal over several keys. And that's basically the book. It's priced very modestly so that any student can afford it. And I hope you'll take a look at it and consider it. And it's available at robertelkjer.com. Thanks so much for listening.